let's bring on Jack Stewart. Jack, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Michael, for having me back.
I'm glad you're here. All right, Jack, give everybody a little background. It's been a while since you've been on the show, and then we'll drive into what's going on with your blog, how to use it, thought leadership, and then what's happening in the world of fintech, cyber currencies.
Well, if you remember, I did study security analysis as a course when I was at Notre Dame, and then when I was at Dean Witter, we had a 6-month training course, and 3 of that was spent on the old-fashioned security analysis, and that's the spreadsheets and the balance sheet and how to look at it. In other words, how to become the Oracle of Omaha. But that never appealed to me much. It's kind of boring, that security analysis. So I started being interested, especially at Dean Witter, with my clients who would kind of be off the beaten path. There was one guy in there, he kept making marks on pieces of paper. What they were stock charts. We see them everywhere today, but back then there was only one company, Michael, that was publishing stock charts, and he would sit there and mark up on a weekly basis what was happening to the gold stocks. And then he came walking over to my booth and he said, I need you to buy me some golds. Buy me 1,000 shares of Dome Mines. When you finish that, I've got another one. So he gave me 4 stocks that he bought 1,000 shares each of. And they all went up significantly in the next 6 months. So he was an interesting guy, and he didn't do security analysis. He did chart analysis and what we call these days technical analysis. So I was kind of attracted to those guys. And so my trading career was made up not so much of buy and hold, but of trying to get a short-term swing, buy something at 20 and sell it at 30. Not too successful, Michael. Didn't have much success at that. So what do you think I did?
Yeah, you turned to a different form of trading.
I went face down into that thing, and when I retired, some 6-7 years ago, semi-retired, and I decided let's see how this day trading works. And I'll tell you what, after tens of thousands of trades, finally came up with something that made some sense. If you look at stocks that gap up in the morning, there's a reason why they're higher the next day than they were the previous day. And then you begin to look at that news, and then you say, okay, so that's some kind of new biotech discovery or breakthrough, or that's some new kind of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin-related news. And so anyway, I began to do some of that day trading, and then I came up with a pattern. It seems that if a stock does this after the first 5 minutes, it's more likely to continue going up. And then I plugged that in for a while. Then I said, okay, then when do you sell them? And then I said, well, maybe if you use this average that so many people use. And anyway, then it came out to what I wrote a formula with the help of the code writers at TradeStation, a securities brokerage firm. They have a thing called Easy Language. You don't really have to learn I/O code, but they teach you how to say, if the stock does this and then it does that, followed by this, then you automatically buy and you automatically sell. And so once I started doing that, I said, why don't I have a blog? Because a blog, Michael, somebody told me, is like having a diary. You keep track of your trades. And so the blog was born. And that's kind of brings us up to now.
Let's talk about how the public the investing public can use your blog. It's on the front page of our website, and it's called Gap and Go. How they can, or Stocks Worth Watching, excuse me. How they can use it to their benefit. What would you suggest for somebody new to your writings to do?
What I suggest, take a look at the stocks that we select for the Gap and Go trades, and it'll show you. Typically, I show the winners, and occasionally I'll show you the loser, just to show that they're kind of small. But for example, back on October 2nd, we had Overstock, which was
symbol
up to 3010, Overstock. And they were a company, Overstock.com.
Jack, what was the symbol?
OSTK.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
And so something new was going on there. That had been a company that had adopted the use of Bitcoin to pay for the things you bought on Overstock.com, and they were competing with Amazon. Well, it's not good to compete with Amazon. So they got deeper and deeper into this cryptocurrency thing, and the stock is no longer 30, it's now 75. So maybe what a reader should do is take a look at a stock, see that we made a nice trade in it, and do a little quick research themselves on it.
Okay.
And then
sound advice. I mean, Jack, you've been putting companies on the website through your blog for quite a while, and I've seen some really, really amazing trades out of this.
Yeah, we had that one, and we had a little company from $2.46 to about $7. It was $9, then back down to $5. We bought it again another time. It's called Grow, and guess what they're involved in? Cryptocurrencies.
What's the symbol? Jack, give us the symbols on these things so I can keep pace with you.
GROW.
Okay, got it.
Right. And then we had something like World Wrestling Entertainment. And we said, okay, this is a $22 stock. It went up a bit. That day we sold it at 23.5. But if you kept it on your monitor, it's stocks to watch. It's called gap and go trades that we make and stocks worth watching. So these stocks are worth watching even though we just traded them one time that day. By the way, Michael, we've had in the OSTK 4 separate trades in that since October. Gap and go trades. And then there's a little thing called Twitter. You remember that one? And everybody soured on Twitter. But one day it gapped up recently at 1926, about 2 weeks ago, and and we bought it again today, but it's $24.50 now. Maybe that's on its way to 100 or 150. But you'll only know by keep watching it, it's a stock worth watching. And we don't just do the low price ones. We had Amazon on there at $11.91 less than a month ago. I'm sorry, at $10.59 AMZN, and it's now $1,200. I mean, we're going to give you stocks worth watching. We'll play them for the gap and go, but keep them on your radar. They're worth watching.
Definitely. All right, we've got about a minute left, Jack. What else would you like to tell the public today?
I'd like to tell the public today that I think that we'll be in kind of a thought leadership role with this. We'd also like to say when we see a big story come down the pike, like Bitcoin, we then have a special section. It's now called Bitcoin, Cryptocurrencies, and Blockchain. And it seems like the most important concept here is a new form of software that nobody can mess with. And it's called blockchain, and I think it's probably to cryptocurrency what the Internet was to email. It's a big, big, big idea. Are we going to take a break, or are we finished here?
Yeah, we're going to go to a commercial break here in a minute, and I just want to say thank you for all of the great content you put on the website, but also being a guest on the show today. But before we go, please, contact information for you so people can know how to reach you, aside from just going to the homepage of our website.
I think they could go to StockTwits/TV, TEEVEE, or you can go to @StuDomer on Twitter. StuDomer on Twitter.
Got it. Thank you, Jack.
Very good. Nice to talk to you again, Michael. Keep up the good work. You're doing a great show there.
Thank you, Jack. All right. You've been listening to Jack Stewart. We're going to go to a commercial break.